We're live.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everyone, on this nice summer evening. We are here for the meeting for the South Kingstown, Rhode Island Zoning Board of Review. My name is Robert Cagnetta. I am the chair. Members present tonight are Thomas Daniels, our vice chairman, Richard Jerzak, and Bill Rosen, and Casey Charkowick with Susan Walsh, our alternate. Also present are Jamie Gorman of South Kingstown Building Zoning Building Official, Amy Goins, our South Kingstown Special Legal Counsel, and Jessica Spence, the Administrative Support Associate. The board is made up of 7 people, which 5 of them are regular voting members. 5 members are required to be present to vote. And in the event one of the 5 members is not present, an alternate will step in. And then we can use another member. Tonight, the voting members will be myself, Mr. Daniels, Mr. Jerzak, Mr. Rosen, and Mr. Charkowick. Applicants are here for either a variance, dimensional or use, or to seek a special use permit. This board is a quasi-judicial body created by the South Kingstown Ordinance pursuant to state statutes. We don't follow strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be in a fair and equitable manner. We try to let everyone speak unless they get a little carried away or it's determined not to be relevant. So in the best interest of time, try to be on point and be brief, and we'll try to give some summaries as to the expectations in a minute. We do our best not to argue, and we keep things civil and try to have the last petition heard by 10 o'clock, which hopefully we won't have that problem tonight. When your petition is called, please come forward. Please make yourself known. Jessica will make you live to everyone on the Zoom call. And then you'll be asked, speak clearly and say your name so everyone can hear you. And then you'll take an oath to tell the truth. We want you to also please spell your name. You can also, you'll be asked to take an oath to tell the truth, and then you can present your petition along with any other witnesses to testify in support. The board will then ask you or your witnesses questions. After petitioner has presented their testimony, anyone else with questions about the application or wanting to support or oppose the petition will then be asked to step forward. They will identify themselves, be sworn in, present their testimony, which may be followed up by questions by the board. And please do not direct any questions to the petitioner or any other witnesses. That'll be our job, my job. We'll allow the petitioner to answer questions raised by the audience and or respond to comments after the comment period. After hearing all testimony and before the vote is taken, board members will be asked to openly discuss the evidence presented. And so you're aware, variances or special use permits require 4 to 5 voting members to vote in favor of the petition for the granting of the requested relief. Board members will ask a lot of questions, and there's a good reason. We cannot grant just anything we choose. There are rules to follow per the South Kingstown ordinance. You must give testimony to support either certain facts that allow your request to be approved. Tonight we have dimensional variances and just dimensional variances. Excellent. For a dimensional variance, you must offer evidence to the board setting forth the following. So make sure all the questions are revolving around some of these things that the applicant has to prove. They have to first prove the hardship is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or the structure. It is not due to the general characteristic of the surrounding area. That their hardship is not the result of any prior action on their part. The granting of the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. The relief requested is the least relief necessary. And you must also show that the hardship that you will suffer if it is not approved, the variance, will amount more than an inconvenience. Jessica, why don't you just help us, let us know how folks should make themselves known.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So just so everyone is aware that we're going to ask that all applicants keep their video and their speaker off until your application is called. At that point, I will ask for you to turn on your video and to unmute yourself. You will give all of your testimony. Once the testimony has been completed by the applicant, anyone who is in attendance who wishes to speak in regards to the application can raise their hand to be heard. So to raise your hand, what you're going to do is, if you're calling in by phone, it's *9 to raise your hand, *6 will mute and unmute. If you're on a computer, you will see the raise hand function. Everyone who raises their hand will be called upon in the order upon which the hands are raised. A couple things to keep in mind. The agenda and all of the supporting applications and documents are available online. So if anyone needs to see anything that's being presented tonight, anything specific, you can go to southkingstownri.com and search current zoning applications. The question and answer function that shows up on the bottom of your screen is to be used only if there is a technical problem. We don't answer any questions in regards to any petitions. So if you ask a question regarding a petition, I'll direct you to raise your hand. And then I guess the last thing to go over is that speak clearly, always state your name. That way people who are calling in who may not be on computer have an idea who's talking. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay, so tonight we had 7 items or 7 items on the agenda. One of them has withdrawn, and that is the petition of Robert Riordan. And Jessica, you said you had a letter regarding that?
I do. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, I'm putting you on the hot seat.
Okay, we received from Bob Riordan on May 5th by email. Good morning, Jessica. I delivered the revised plans to Jay yesterday, which bring the overall height of our structure in at 19 feet, 10.5 inches. As this meets the height requirements from the town, there is no longer a need to pursue a variance. Would you please remove us from the May 19th zoning meeting? Thank you for all your help. All the best, Bob Riordan.
So since it's withdrawn, there's no action on our part, correct? Correct. Okay, excellent.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, so next on the agenda, we have Stephen Roman of 61 Beech Tree Place, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 22-foot by 12-foot 6-inch deck with stairs to grade attached to the rear of the dwelling. The deck will be located 17 foot 6 inches from the rear property line. The required setback is 30 feet. Relief of 12 foot 6 inches is requested. The lot size is 0.23 acres. Dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance, section 207, non-conforming lots of record, building setback requirements, and section 907, standards of relief. The owner of the property is Stephen C. and Diane D. Roman, for premises located at 61 Beech Tree Place, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 49-2, Lot 61, and is zoned R20. And for this application, we have the application signed and dated March 25th. Owner authorization signed and notarized March 25th. Final plan, major subdivision, Phase 3, Beech Tree Place, page 1, prepared by Environmental Planning and Surveying, Inc. Current and proposed structure location, which is 2 pages, dated March 25th. The photo dated March 25th, and proposed deck layout dated March 25th, all of 2021. The 200-foot radius map and abutters list, legal notice, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Who is here tonight for this application?
Oh, my husband and I, Diane Roman and Steve Roman. Yeah.
Okay, great. Could you guys both spell your names for me?
Stephen with a PH,
Oh, okay.
R-O-M-A-N.
and Diane, Diane, Roman.
Okay, and you guys both swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
We
We
do,
do.
Excellent. And is there anyone else that you guys are gonna have talking tonight, or is it just yourselves?
just ourselves.
Excellent. So go ahead, tell us what you like to do.
Well, what we would like to do is to make a larger deck in the back of the house. What we have now is a small landing, maybe 3 feet by 5 feet, with about 9 steps down the grade. And I have the grill down at the bottom of the steps. And as I get older, it's much more of a challenge to go back and forth to the grill, come back up to bring the food up into the kitchen. But if we get approval on the deck plan that we have submitted, we'd like to put a table with enough seating for our family. My son lives in downtown Wakefield, so the family can come over and we could have family dinner out of the kitchen and on the deck, weather permitting.
And so the size you chose was based on the fact of wanting a table out there as well as egress and
Yeah,
so
with the
forth.
grill and all. Yes, correct.
So the grill is gonna be on the deck?
Yes, it will be.
But away from the house, on the far side, of the deck, not next to the house.
Yes, well, look,
And we also
if
wanted
it's
to have-
vinyl, you wanna keep it away, yes.
Yeah, and we also wanted to have room for 2 of us, just regular, better chairs, so that, we're not eating, we can just sit out on the deck. And right now we have to walk down to the lawn and drag a chair on the lawn.
There's only room for one small chair on
Yeah,
the landing
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
So we've been making do. We bought the house 7 years ago, but I think especially this last year when company had to be outside, it
Mhm.
got very difficult.
Sure.
So, yeah, basically that's why we're doing it.
Plus, we're getting older and it's getting tougher to go up and down the steps.
Don't
Okay.
get to. do that.
excellent. Board members, any questions for the applicants?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Rick Jurzak, just
Yes,
a
sir.
couple of questions or clarification. In back, there's an open space in the rear? Is that what's back there? What's-
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and it also falls off, does it not, the topography? So then
Only
in that
one
open space,
corner.
ex-
Well, no, only in one corner of the property.
no, but I mean in the open space in the back, if you look straight into the back, and then in that open space, that goes downhill, does it not?
That's correct.
Okay, and how, is there a house back there somewhere? There's no house back there.
No, we don't have any house backing up to us. There is a street, but it's on the other side of the open ground. And
Okay,
it's all treed, like this time of year, you can't even see another house,
okay,
with
and-
the tree leaves.
And this deck is coming off, I'm not sure if I heard you say this before, but that door goes into where does that door go into? The kitchen?
Well,
Kitchen and dining room combination.
It's between the
Okay.
kitchen and
All
dining.
right, so this is the place where you would have a deck. I mean, it
Right.
makes sense that you're not gonna put a deck somewhere that is off of a bedroom. So this is,
No,
this
and
is the
now-
ideal location for a deck, correct?
right. And our house is open concept, like it's a big oak living room, dining room, kitchen is
Good.
all open. So that's the place to do
Okay,
it.
those are my only questions. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Jurzak. Any other members have any questions for the applicants? No? Okay. Do you guys have anything to add?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a deck.
It is. Yeah. Well, let's make sure everybody else is cool with it, all the animals in the back. Jessica, is there anyone, that wasn't referring to anyone in the audience by any means. Is there anyone out there that wishes to speak on behalf of this petition?
And please use the raise hand feature. No one has raised their hand.
Okay, great. How does everybody feel about this?
Rob,
Yes, Mr. Rosen,
I have one question.
go for it.
This is Bill Rosen, Mr. and Mrs. Roman. Is the deck going to be covered?
No,
No,
no, it'll just be open.
Okay, so the placing of the grill is not going to be a problem with a covered deck.
No, it's gonna go on the far side of the deck. So it'll be 12 feet from the house. There's no roof on the deck.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Questions? Thoughts?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, unless Mr. Jurzak would like to.
No, you go right ahead, Mr. Daniels.
Thank you.
All right. Motion to approve the petition of Stephen and Diane Roman of 61 Beach Street Place in South Kingstown. This is a request for a dimensional variance under section 207, non-conforming lots of record, and section 907. The documents have been identified and entered in the record by the chairman, and the pertinent information with regard to the dimensional variance has been entered into the record. Basically, it's a straightforward request for a deck with stairs, and the applicant is seeking relief of 12.6, 12 feet 6 inches from the rear property line. Mr. Roman spoke, Mr. and Mrs. Roman both spoke on behalf of this request. There was no opposition to the request, and the board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is not due, or is due rather, to the unique characteristics of the subject land and structure, and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. This deck is to be located adjacent to kitchen and dining area. The applicant needs additional space for family gatherings and for locating a grill on the deck, which makes it a lot easier than climbing up and down 9 sets of stairs, as the applicant has testified to. So the board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant, does not result primarily from the desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain, strictly for the use of the applicant and his family. Certainly, the board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. There is plenty of open space to the rear, and as the applicant testified, there's plenty of trees and cover to the rear, and no other houses are visible. And I would assume that there are a number of houses with rear decks in that particular area. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the least relief necessary, since the deck is being built adjacent to and actually is extending an existing landing. This is simply a request to enlarge a nice area where the family can enjoy the outside of their home. The board finds a hardship suffered by the owner, if this is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, because really there's no other place to put a deck. It certainly makes sense to be adjacent to the dining and kitchen area, and also to an existing entryway. And so with that in mind, there are no conditions to this application, and I would move passage of the petition.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
Second,
Second by Mr. Jurzak. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak,
aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Mr. Charkowik,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Enjoy your deck.
Thank you very much.
Do we need to stay on tonight, or are we done?
Nope, not unless you enjoy our voices, but no.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks again. Good night.
You're welcome. Next, we have the petition of John Savastano of 20 Wild Rose Court, Warwick, Rhode Island, 02888, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to demolish the existing garage and construct a new attached garage. The garage will be located 24.7 feet from the property line. The required front yard setback is 35 feet. Relief of 10.3 feet is requested. Excuse me. The applicant previously received approval for the dimensional variance, but has since revised the plan reconfiguring the proposed garage. Lot size is 0.93 acres. A dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance section 401, schedule of dimensional regulations, and section 907, standards of relief. Owner of the property is John E. and Michelle Savastano for premises located at 191 Lake Avenue, South Kingstown, Assessor's Map 87.4 Lot 39, and is zoned R20. For this application, we have the cover letter and narrative signed and dated March 31st. The owner's authorization signed and notarized March 31st. The survey plan prepared by Flynn Surveys, Inc., James G. Flynn, PLS, dated March 28th, 2020, with revisions on June 7th, 2020 and March 27th, 2021. The 200-foot radius map and a butters list, legal notice, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. And then as a correspondence from attorney Kenyon dated May 7th, 2021. And Mr. Kenyon, I believe you were here for this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'm John Kenyon, attorney for the applicant, John Savastano. Mr. Savastano and his wife, Michelle, own the property at 191 Lake Avenue. It's 41,219 square feet in size. It's in an R20 zoning district. It's the last lot on Lake Avenue and is bounded to the rear by Potter's Pond. There's an existing two-family home on the property, which was permitted as they have double the size requirements for an R20 zoning district. The existing house is located 14.9 feet from the front yard line and 35 feet is required, so it's considered dimensionally non-conforming. There is also a detached garage and shed in front of the house that were located 14 feet from the front yard line. The applicant's proposing to renovate the existing house, convert it to a single-family residence, and also to replace the existing septic system with a new OWTS. The applicant was before you in July of last year. He received a variance to locate the garage 16.7 feet from the front yard line, which required a variance of 18.3 feet. The applicant started working with a new architect who came up with a new design for the garage, basically spun it around. And it would move it 8 feet further from the front yard line and now requires a variance of 10.3 feet. I don't think I've ever come back to the board with an applicant seeking less relief than was previously granted, but that's the case tonight. Mr. Savastano is here tonight. John, maybe you can just go over the thought process with the redesign of the garage.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new architect,
We have to swear him in first, though, John.
sure, absolutely.
So just spell your name, please.
John, John, Savastano, Savastano.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No worries. So he looked at the way we had it designed originally, and he made some changes to swing it around and move the driveway, and it gave it a better look, and it gave it more relief from the street to the garage that we originally had gotten relief on. So I didn't think it to be more difficult because it's the same size garage. We didn't do anything to it except spin it and put it in a different position on the in front of the house.
Thank you. And John, everything else on the site plan and house plans stayed the same?
Everything stays the same. The septic system design stays in the same place. It just gives the house a better look. It gives more relief to the town from the garage to the street, and the square footage stays exactly the same.
Thank you. We can answer any questions the board or if there are any neighbors may have.
Anyone? Questions for the applicant? None yet? Okay. So
Wait a second.
go ahead, Ms. Rosen.
I went out there and visited the lot.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't see that there was an existing house there. Maybe I was looking in the wrong place, but
No, we already have the demo permit, and we were able to take the house down. But we're seeking relief to finalize the set of plans that we're gonna do, because if we don't get the relief for that, we can go with the existing plans already approved.
Oh, I see.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Rosen, I believe I probably misspoke that when we came the last time, there was an existing house. We received the board's approval, and since then he has demolished the house and is looking to build a new one, but the new one will be further away from the front yard line than the one that was approved by this board a year ago.
It looked to me like the foundation was just being put in. Is that correct?
The foundation is still there. I'm using the existing
Oh,
foundation.
that's the old foundation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Just wanted to make sure that I was in the right place.
No, you were. Beautiful spot, isn't it?
Oh, it is a beautiful spot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice neighborhood too. So-
Yeah, we're excited about being there.
Any other questions or for the applicant by board members? No? Okay, Mr. Kenyon, you have anyone else you wanted to?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Jessica, is there anyone out there in the audience that would want to speak on behalf of this petition?
Again, please use the raise hand feature. No one has.
I mean, this seems very straightforward. They're asking for less. And there's no opposition, so I don't have a particular issue with it. How's everyone else feel?
Fine with it.
Fine?
No problem.
Someone want to try for a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Excellent.
The motion as read by the chairman was presented, and a list of the documents that we have was also presented by the chairman. I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of John Savastano, who is the only one to speak, although his lawyer, John Kenyon, spoke for him as well. It's a pretty straightforward proposition. They've reconfigured the garage so that it is further away from the street than it originally in the original plans, and that's the reason for them coming before this board. I'll make that motion to approve this position for the following reasons. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to the physical or economic disability of the applicant, accepting those physical disabilities as addressed in 452430 parenthetical 16. The reason that it's here is because the garage is simply going to be attached to the house and will be approximately 10 feet from this, further back than original plans. And the reason that they have to come before the board at this particular time is because the plans have changed, even though they were given approval several months ago by this board. And as a result of that approval, they actually removed the house that was there, and what's left is the foundation that was originally there. So the footprint of the house is not going to change at all. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant, and it does not result primarily from the desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain. It's obvious that he's gone to great length to satisfy some of the requirements and make it a lot easier and more comfortable for the town to deal with this. And the variance is actually an improvement over what the variance would have been in terms of the setback associated with the garage that's being planned. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based, because actually it's going to enhance the character of the surrounding area. Right now, it's a beautiful spot, but there's an empty lot there essentially with a foundation, so it's not at present very good looking. But I assume that the house is going to meet the specifications of the other houses, which are actually very, very nice in that area. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the least relief necessary. As a matter of fact, Mr. Savastano has gone to some pains to actually make it the relief even better than it was before. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, simply because it's going to have to go back to the old plans as such. And as a result, I move approval.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Chuckwick. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Mr. Chuckwick,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So next we have the petition of Jeff Elia of 20 Mason Lane, Summers, Connecticut, 06071 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 23.96 foot by 43.25 foot addition and a 12 foot by 28.5 foot deck on the west side of the existing single-family dwelling. The addition and deck will be located 10.4 feet from the west side property. The required front yard setback is 25 feet. Relief of 4.1 feet is requested. The zoning official previously determined that the requested relief was less than 25% of the requirement and was therefore eligible for modification, but an objection was received within the 30-day notice period. Therefore, the request must be made to the zoning board and review. The lot size is 8,625 square feet. A dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance section 207, non-conforming lots of record building setback requirements, and section 401, schedule of dimensional regulations, and section 907, standards of relief. The owner of the property is Jeff F. Elia and Christine Gary for premises located at 49 South Whedon Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 92-2, Lot 7, and is zoned R20. For this property, we have a variety of correspondences and information with the application. We have the cover letter and narrative signed and dated March 25th. Owner's authorization signed and notarized March 25th. Vision appraisal card, map 92-2, lot 7. Proposed development site plan by Atlas Surveying LLC, Marcus Channel PLS, dated February 2021. Exterior perspectives and building plans, A 0.1, 0.2, 2.1, A 2.2, 2.3, 3.1, and 3.2, prepared by Beasley Woodworks, dated February 8th, 2021. 200-foot radius map and a butters list, legal notice, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailings. We have 9 photos, and then we have correspondences from Kim Hansen, Karen Ferraria, Joseph Smith, and Attorney Kenyon. The abutters, or the folks, the first one was received on 5/1 from Kim Hansen. This is supporting the variance from the Hansons. Dear Mr. Gorman, regarding the zoning variance of Jeff Elliott, 20 Mason Lane, Somers, Connecticut, 06071, dimensional variance for 49 South Whedon Road, South Kingstown. We live at 41 South Whedon Road. We're their next door neighbor, and we are in support of the variance of which they have applied. The requested relief is less than 25% of the requirements and is eligible for modification. In our opinion, this variance poses no negative impact to our neighborhood and should be approved. The Elias are good neighbors and keep their property in very good condition. Please verify receipt of this letter in support of this variance. And that is signed Kim and Tom Hansen of 41 South Whedon Road. We have another on 5/4 from Karen Ferraria. And this says, good afternoon, Jamie. I've been a neighbor of Jeff and Chris Elia of 49 South Whedon Road for the last 9 years. Reside at 80 South Whedon. I'm writing in support of their variance modification request. Have no objections to their building project, and in fact are thrilled to have more and more neighbors continue to invest and improve in their homes. We are lucky to have Jeff and Chris in our neighborhood. They take fabulous care of their property and are just all around wonderful neighbors. Actually, last summer, one of the neighbors came running out of the houses screaming as someone was having a heart attack. Jeff went over and performed CPR on the woman for 20 minutes until the EMTs arrived. I see no reason why anyone would object to their project. It seems a bit silly. And that is from Karen Ferraria. And then we have another on 5-4 from Joseph Smith. And it says, Jeff, I fully support, have no objections whatsoever to anything as far as the modifications or renovations to your home. My name is Joseph Smith. I live next door to the west of Jeff at 57 South Whedon Road in South Kingstown, or Wakefield, Rhode Island, excuse me. And that was sent from their phone. And Jessica, was there anything else with this? I know that at first we had an objection, but then they withdrew. Or, you know what? Why don't we step back one more? I don't know if Jamie, do you want to explain what this meant? What they meant by the modifications, eligible for a modification?
Yeah, Chairman. Yeah, so section 905 of the zoning ordinance allows modifications to be granted administratively for dimensional relief, provided that it doesn't exceed 25% of the required setback. So in this case, front yard setback is 25, so the maximum relief that could be granted by modification would be just over 6 feet. And so they're under that. But if there is, the application would be made to the our office. Notice would have to be advertised. If there's an objection received within 30 days of the advertised notice, then it is denied, or it is basically has to go to the zoning board of review for, application.
So there was an objector at the time that brought it to us.
There was, yeah.
Okay. And that's not in the record now though, Jessica, right? No. Explain to us why that's not in the record.
We treated it as this, we're treating this zoning application as its own application. The modification request, we treated as a separate one. It was denied. So it's kind of at this point, like it never happened. So then they came before zoning. They're coming before zoning now for request for relief.
Okay. So the objection wasn't for this meeting. The objection was in the 30-day period, which then threw it to this meeting.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that before we go forward? Is everybody clear as to why we're here? Okay. So that being said, Mr. Kenyon, are you doing this one again as well?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Once again,
Please.
John Kenyon, attorney for the applicant, Jeff Elia. The applicant's property is located at 49 South Whedon Road. The property is 8,625 square feet in size, and it's in an R20 zoning district. There's an existing 768 square foot, 3-bedroom, single-family residence, which is serviced by town water and an existing septic system. The applicants are proposing an addition to the eastern side of the existing home. They'll be replacing the existing septic system with a new Advantex OWTS, which will be located to the rear of the house. The proposed addition requires a left side yard variance of 1.6 feet, as 10.4 feet is proposed and 12 feet is required, and a front yard variance of 4.1 feet, as 20.9 feet is proposed and 25 feet is required. As you indicated earlier, we originally filed this as a modification with the building official. The building official approved the modification as it was his opinion that the request met the burden of proof. Once the modification is approved, we then send notice to the same abutters that would get notice of a zoning board hearing. And if no one objects within 30 days, it's deemed approved. In that case, there was an objection received early on in the 30 days, which was then withdrawn. I believe they thought it was a different property that was being added on to. And then near the end of the 30 days, we received another objection, which means the request now goes through the normal zoning application process, which is why we're here tonight. And I haven't seen it, but I understand that the second objector may have also withdrawn that objection. But we're here tonight. While this was all playing out, the applicant and the builder discussed changes to the plans due to the rising cost of lumber and have actually redesigned a smaller addition that still requires the same exact relief. I wanted to bring it to this board's attention now because I didn't want the same thing that happened in my last application, where there's a change that makes it a better situation, but the applicant has to come back here to the board again. So I just wanted to make the board aware of that. And we're going to go through those changes. So Mr. Elia is here tonight along with Ken Cole and his builder, Cyrus Beasley. And I'd ask that Mr. Cole be sworn in.
No, I'm on mute. Mr. Cole, could you please spell your name and state it?
Yeah, it's Ken, K-E-N, Cole, C-O-L-E.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So, Mr. Kenyon.
Sure. Mr. Cole, where are you employed?
I am project manager for Atlas Land Surveying, Warwick, Rhode Island.
And what are your duties there?
I wear a lot of different hats, but I do field land surveying, septic system design, drafting, soil evaluations, wetland delineation, whatever is called on me for dealing with the permit process with Rhode Island DEM, CRMC, town, anything anything involved in the residential development world. That's what I do.
And have you testified before zoning boards previously?
I have.
And are you familiar with the applicant's property located at 49 South Whedon Road?
Yes, they hired our services and we first visited the site fall of 2020 to start a survey and eventual septic design for the clients.
And was the site plan that was submitted with the application, was that prepared by Marcus Channel in your office?
Yeah, yes, it was prepared by myself and Marcus Channel, correct.
And is the property in an R20 zoning district?
It is.
And is the lot 8,625 square feet in size?
That's what we calculated it after our survey to be, correct.
And are there similar size lots in that neighborhood?
Yeah, I did a little bit of research and within 600-foot radius of the property, there are at least 8 other properties that are the same size or smaller than the Elias property.
And is there an existing single-family house on the property?
There is.
And is that serviced by town water?
As town water, correct.
And is there also an existing septic system?
Yeah, we were able to find an existing septic tank as part of our survey and research. As far as the leach field, I'm sure there's something out there, but there were no records that we were able to uncover at DEM, probably due to the age of the house.
And is the applicant proposing to replace the existing septic system with the new OWTS?
Yeah, that was why they hired us, was to design a new septic system. So we are going to go forward with that after the decision from the town.
And can you explain the type of system and where it will be located?
Yeah, so the client's located in the critical resource area, so we are required to provide nitrate reducing technology. And we have, on our plan that's in front of the board, we have proposed a 1,500 gallon septic tank with Advantex treatment, discharging to a Geomat 3900 leach field, which is an innovative alternative design and pretty much the Rolls Royce of septic systems.
Thank you. And now is the applicant proposing an addition to the existing house?
They are.
And does the addition have to be a certain distance away from the proposed OWTS?
It does. The DEM has varying distances from building to leach field, and it all depends on the depth of the foundation of the building. So it could be as little as 8 feet, might need to be as far as 25 feet, but our plan is satisfying that setback for what the client's intending to build.
And does the, that require that any proposed addition to the house in that area be moved further up on the lot, closer to the front yard line?
Yeah, I was hired first to show Cyrus Beasley and the clients, like how big my leach field was going to take up. And then they decided, okay, from there, we'll kind of come up with a plan for what we want the addition of our house to be. But yeah, the placement of my leach field definitely is inhibiting them going deeper into the backyard with their with an addition to the house.
And is the building area within the setbacks pretty limited on this lot?
Yeah, anytime any of these properties are under 10,000 square feet, it's really challenging trying to fit house, water system, and septic on the same lot. So that's a definite yes.
And is the applicant requesting a 1.6 left side yard variance and a 4.1 front yard variance?
Yes, they are.
And even though the lot's pretty small, does the applicant still meet the building coverage requirement of 25%?
Yeah, I believe we calculated that to be about 19.8. So they are coming in considerably under the maximum allowed percentage.
And in your opinion, is the requested relief reasonable?
Absolutely.
And are there other similar size houses in the neighborhood?
Definitely. The neighbor's house, which I worked on over 10 years ago, is very similar size and same size property.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions if the board has any.
Hey, board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Cole? No? Okay. All right, do you want to call somebody else up at this
I
point?
do. I'd like to call Cyrus Beasley, but I don't see him on the, oh, there he is. If I could have Cyrus sworn in, please.
Sure, I'm
All
here.
right. Spell your name, please, sir.
CYRUSBEASLEY.
All right, and you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Good, Mr. Kenyon.
And Mr. Beasley, where are you employed?
Beasley Woodwork.
And what are your duties there?
I am the owner, designer, and project manager.
And are you a registered contractor in Rhode Island?
I am.
And how long have you been a registered contractor in Rhode Island?
Since 2008.
And have you testified before zoning boards previously as a contractor?
I've not.
And are you familiar with the applicant's property located at 49 South Whedon Road?
Yes, very.
And have you worked on houses in that area previously?
I have.
And did you prepare the house plans that were submitted with the application?
I did.
And is the applicant proposing an addition to the existing house?
Yes, he is.
And can you briefly explain the existing house to the board and then go through the process of designing the addition?
Sure. So the existing house is pretty standard, 24 feet by 32 foot cape. It's a floor and a half with a walkout basement. And the owners came to me. They were looking to turn this into a primary residence and wanted to look into what was possible to get square footage that they would need to make the house something that they could have the whole family at in the summertime, as well as something that they might be able to age in place in.
And thank you. And when you were in the process of designing the house, were you attempting to meet the applicant's needs along with complying with the town's ordinance as much as possible?
I was.
And can you briefly just go through the original floor plans that were proposed?
Sure. So for the plans that were dated February 8th, 2021, if you start at the basement level, you can see the yellow is the existing foundation. Red dotted line is foundation to be removed for the existing house. And then off to the right is the footprint of the addition to the house. It's about 43 by 24. And that was to have a garage and some storage space on that level, laundry and mechanicals in the existing basement area. The next floor up was going to be, there's going to be a kitchen where the existing kitchen is in the house now. Bathroom to stay where the existing bathroom is. Relocating the stairs to allow an open flow from the kitchen through a dining area to the living room. There is a bedroom with a bathroom and a walk-in closet that could be used as a master suite to have one level living if necessary. And there was also an office in there as well. And there was also a 12 by 28 foot deck off the front of what is basically the new addition. The rest of the deck stayed at the dimension they are now. The top floor has a section cut out so that there's a vaulted space over the living area. And it contains 3 more bedrooms, 1 master suite with a bathroom and a walk-in closet, a common hall area, and then 1 more bedroom with a bathroom attached, and a bedroom with no bathroom attached for sort of a bunk area, and then 1 common bathroom to service the common area and the deck that's accessible, as well as that 3rd bedroom.
And can you briefly explain how the rising cost of lumber have impacted the construction cost?
Well, if anybody's been paying attention, the cost of a sheet of CD at 1/2-inch CX plywood has tripled in the last 2 months. I set out to design this house with a budget in mind, and as we got further into the situation we're in now, it became pretty apparent that I wasn't able to hit that budget with the cost of materials as they were, which led us to take a second look at what is really necessary in the house and what we could get away with deleting and still achieve the goals of the client.
And can you just briefly explain what the changes to the modified plan were?
Sure. So the new plan, I don't know if you guys have this in front of you, but it's the one dated March 10th, 2021. If you start on the first floor, you can see that we've maintained much more of the existing foundation. We're just going to remove the 1 walkout wall as it's easier to do and cheaper. The addition to the left there is a lot smaller than the original addition. It basically just fits a garage, and then there's a little storage space. The next floor up, the floor plan's a lot more modest. Again, the kitchen stays in relatively the same place. Stairs get moved, but the overall footprint of the house is just an easier shape to build. The bedroom on that level is now no longer attached to the bathroom, although there's a bathroom near it. The deck has been deleted and is now staying relatively closer to the house. And really the only thing now that sticks over the setback line is the stairs down from the front deck. The next floor up has still the same number of bedrooms, although the configuration has changed to fit into the new smaller footprint. The 2 bedrooms to the left are about 15 by 12, which is just about, normal bedroom size. The one to the right is master suite with an attached bath and walk-in closet. We were able to maintain a front deck access from a common space, which was a driving factor for the design here that has great views out the front.
And regarding the relief that's necessary, it still requires the 1.6 feet from the left side yard line?
Yes.
And is really the driving need for that to fit the 1-car garage to actually be able to fit the car in there?
That is the biggest part. As this will now be a full year-long residence, we really wanted to find a place to get a car in the weather.
And are you now able to, were you able to reduce the rear of that addition so that the rear of the addition meets the 12-foot side yard setback? And it's just where the car is going to be located? Exactly.
Yeah, I tried to, get as much of it out of that setback line as I could.
And as you stated, there is no longer a requirement for the front yard variance for the deck, but the stairs are in the front yard setback. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And is it the same exact relief that was previously requested? And in your opinion, will the proposed house fit in with the houses in the surrounding area?
Yes, I think it will.
Thank you. I have no further questions. If the board has any.
Board members, any questions for Mr. Beasley? Not at this time.
Great. If I could have Mr. Elia sworn in, please.
Sure. Mr. Elia, could you please spell your name?
First name is Jeff, Geoff. Last name is Eli, Elia.
Great. And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So please go ahead, Mr. Kenyon.
So Jeff, do you own the property with your wife, Christine Gary?
Yes, I do.
And how long have you owned that property?
It will be there 11 years this October.
And what use have you made of the property during that time?
Just enjoyment with our family. We have 3 children that all live in Boston, so we try and spend as much time with them as we can.
And during that time, has it been a secondary residence?
Yes, it has, just seasonal. The house is not
Just
set up
seasonal.
for year-round living.
And are you planning on moving into the house as your primary residence?
Yes, we are. We want to make that our full-time residence as soon as we can.
And can you explain to the board the existing conditions of the property and the house?
Sure. It's a very small 1970s Cape. It has quite a few limitations as far as size and accessibility. It's really not set up for anyone in their retirement years. Narrow stairwells, small spaces, no closets. I mean, it's a great seasonal home, but it's definitely not a home that is designed for year-round living in retirement age.
And are you proposing an addition to the existing house?
Yes, we are.
And what was your intent in designing the addition to the house?
Just trying to make the house more functional, something that we can have a family be there and everyone can have their own independent space. Right now, it's when our kids visit, it's somewhat communal.
And did you cite the proposed garage and the location of the existing driveway?
Yes, I did.
And did you need a certain width in the garage in order for it to be functional?
We've left that up to Mr. Beasley, but the existing design right now is the minimum needed. Anything less than that, he's indicated would be somewhat non-functional as far as he's conveyed to us that anything smaller than that, getting in and out of your car would be difficult.
And were you originally requesting a variance from the front yard setback for a proposed raised deck at the front of the house?
Yes, we were.
And were you able to reduce the width of the addition so that the deck now meets the setback requirements?
Yes, we have.
And with the new configuration, do you now need a front yard variance for the front steps going into the house?
I don't believe we do.
Just for the steps.
Just for the existing
Yeah.
steps, yes, sorry.
And did you attempt to limit the size of the house to reduce the zoning relief necessary?
Yes, we've met with Mr. Beasley countless times to do everything that we can to fall within those guidelines.
And did you design the house as small as possible while still meeting your needs?
Yes, we have. Quite honestly, we've narrowed it down to the minimal that we believe we would be comfortable in.
Now, did you receive feedback from some of your neighbors on the requested relief?
Our original modification, there was one objection that I know was withdrawn. They were confused with our house with someone else's house. And then at the last minute, there was a different objection from someone behind a neighbor of ours on a street behind us. We never met them, don't know them, but I'm told now that that objection was also withdrawn. But the surrounding neighbors, some of whom I believe are speaking today, are very supportive. We've got a great neighborhood.
And in fact, did the neighbor adjacent to the left side where the side yard variance is being requested, did they submit a letter of support?
Yes, they did. Both side neighbors have submitted letters in support.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Eli? None at this time. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I have no further witnesses. I do believe there are some people in the audience that probably want to speak.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, Rick Cherzak, can I just
Yes,
ask
sir.
Mr. Kenyon something?
of course.
I don't know if I missed this, John, but tell me about lot coverage. What do we, you meet the requirement for the zoning ordinance? What is the lot coverage with the addition?
So the lot coverage requirement is 25%. The original larger addition, we were at 19.8%. So the new addition, we're probably a little bit less than that. So we're well under the lot coverage requirements.
Okay, and just one last question. The house to the west, what will be the distance between the addition and the existing house to the west? Just so we know we can get a fire truck or whatever through there. What's the distance?
Maybe Mr. Cole can answer that. My computer's acting up to me and it won't let me see any of the plans right now. So I can't measure it out for you.
Yeah, this is Ken Cole. I have the plan opened up in front of me, and we have an approximate location of the house to the west, and we have about 24 feet between the addition and house number 57, which is the house to the west, owned by the Smith family.
Okay, thank you. That's my only other question. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, board members? Okay, Jessica, can you remind everyone how to make themselves known?
Sure. So you would need to hit the raise hand function. It should be at the bottom of your computer screen, or it could be at the top toolbar. And I have Elaine Hogan raising her hand. Elaine, I'm going to allow you to talk. You just need to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Elaine, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Do you, could you just please spell your name?
My name is Elaine Hogan, ELAINE HOGAN.
And
And
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So go ahead, Elaine. Questions or comments?
Just actually a very quick comment. I just wanted to say that Jeff and Chris have been great neighbors, and my husband and I live across the street from them at 46 South Whedon Road, and we have no objection to their plans.
Excellent. So you guys weren't the ones that you didn't get the CPR by
No,
Jeff then? That wasn't you. Okay.
thank goodness, no.
Well, I can see why you're coming out to support him then. So, no, that's great. So, board members, any questions for Ms. Hogan? No? Anything to add, or that's it?
That says it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Tom Hanson.
Okay, Mr. Hanson.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, spell your name, please. Oh,
There we go.
now you're back. Spell your name, please.
You just need to unmute yourself, Mr. Hanson.
Yeah, I had, and then it popped up another message. Anyway, TOMHANSON.
And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So go ahead.
Okay, I'm the neighbor, the next door neighbor on the east side at 41 South Whedon Road. I've seen the plans and it should be a nice addition to the neighborhood. Jeff and Chris are nice people and they keep the yard well maintained, probably better than mine, but anyway, thank you.
Well, good thing you're not asking for any variance. Any board members, any questions, Mr. Hanson? Great. Thank you, Mr. Hanson.
Okay, Karen Ferreira.
Ms. Ferreira?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Could you please spell your name?
Sure, it's Karen Ferreira.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I sure do.
Okay, so go ahead.
I just want to say that Jeff and Chris have been neighbors of ours for quite a long time. They're great neighbors, and we are in support of their addition to their home. And I think it just actually adds value to the neighborhood. So we have no objection.
Great, great. Board members, any questions for Ms. Ferreira? Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, Jessica?
No one else.
Okay. Board members, any other thoughts, questions?
Just one comment.
Sure.
I sympathize with the applicant here about the cost of wood these days. It's shot up way too far. And probably if you wait a couple of months, it's going to drop down. It's got to drop down. Can't stay at that height. So
If we wait, too much-
just a comment.
Thank you. If we wait too much longer, Mr. Beasley, I'm going to be doing CPR on Mr. Beasley. So
Yeah, it's not fun on either side of the fence of the contractor or the client, believe me.
I can understand.
Okay, Mr. Kenyon, do you have anything to add or?
No, I don't, Mr. Chairman. Well, just quickly, I know it's a little confusing because of the change in house plans, but I wanted the board to see that because it has been pretty substantially reduced. And I think it fits a lot better on the lot now, and it does still require the 1.6 foot side yard setback just because of the garage situation. There's no way to really get around that, but it does in the rear. They were able to cut the house back in so it then meets the side yard setback. And then on the front of the house, they were able to have the deck so they all meet the front yard setback, but the stairs do still require the 4.1 front yard variance.
But we can certainly approve it as written, and then, or do we need to modify the language of the No, we wouldn't modify. We would just, in our decision, I guess, note that the new plans. Okay.
Right, the relief is exactly the same as what we were proposing
Okay,
or requesting.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the applicant or Mr. Kenyon from board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Kenyon. Board members, any other thoughts, comments? Motions?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not certain, did you ask if there was objection, any objectors?
I asked if anyone had any comments, but we can certainly just make sure that there aren't any other anyone else out there that has an objection. No.
No one has raised their hand.
Great. So if someone would like to consider a motion or make a motion.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, but before I do that, could I just ask Mr. Kenyon one last question very quickly?
Please. Yeah.
Mr. Kenyon, does the site plan in my motion, if I cite the site plan, is this the site plan? I noticed that it has not been modified, but this is what's happening.
So the side yard setback is staying exactly the same.
Yes.
The front yard where the deck is within the setback,
Yep.
it is no longer within the setback,
Okay, so the deck is no longer on the set, but the stairs are.
but the stairs are.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Okay.
Please, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of Jeff Eli, okay, with regard to the property located at 49 South Whedon Road, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, okay. Mr. John Kenyon came before us today representing Mr. Eli, okay. He explained what Mr. Eli is looking to do, okay. He wants to put an addition on the present existing house. It's a rather small house at the moment, okay. They're going to add to it because they want to make it their permanent residence, okay. The addition, they're looking for relief from the west side yard, okay, of 1.6 feet, okay. The addition will be located 10.4 feet from the west property line. The required side yard setback is 12 feet. They're also looking for relief of 4.1 feet, okay, from the front yard setback, okay, of 25 feet, okay, because there is a set of stairs that will be put in that will be located 20.9 feet from the front property line, okay. This is a request for a dimensional variance, okay, under 907A1, all right. Mr. Kenyon presented various evidence. First, he put on the stand Mr. Ken Cole, from Atlas Land Surveyor. Mr. Cole testified as to what he does. Okay, he also testified as to what what he did for Mr. Eli in this case. He told us all about the septic system, where it had to be located, and the configuration of the lot and various other things. Okay. Mr. Kenyon also put on the stand Mr. Cyrus Beasley. Mr. Beasley is a home designer and contractor. Mr. Beasley designed the property. Okay. Mr. Kenyon also put on the stand the applicant, Geoff Eli. Okay, Mr. Eli explained in great depth exactly what he and his wife wanted to do with regard to the property, and that they were going to live in the premises. Okay. It seems that the Elis are liked in the neighborhood. There were a number of people who were in support of this application. There were letters from Mr. Hanson, from Karen Ferreira, from a Mr. Smith. Okay. And we also had Mr. Tom Hanson actually call in favor, as well as a Mr. Hogan. Okay. All right, Mr. Kenyon further testified that this addition will not be anything out of the ordinary, and that it still meets the 25% lot coverage requirement of our zoning ordinance. So clearly it is not overtaxing a lot. Okay. Mr. Cole testified the necessity of where the septic system had to be, and one of the requirements of why the addition had to be located where it is being located. All right. All right. Having all that said, before I forget, okay, I do want to make part of this motion the survey, or the proposed development site plan, okay, by Atlas Land Surveyors. Okay, it is dated February 2021, but it has been modified in that now in the front yard, the only thing that will be that we're going to need a variance will be for no longer the deck, but only the stairs at this point. Okay. All right. Having all that said, all right. I want to make note that the applicant has shown that they clearly have a hardship here. The hardship being that due to the configuration of the lot, okay, and the requirement of the septic system of where it has to be located, this is pretty much the only place that they could put this addition and make it reasonable. Okay. Second, okay. Clearly, the hardship does not result from anything that the applicant did. In this case, it's a pretty simple request. They did nothing to create this problem. Okay. Number three, they have shown that this will not, okay, alter the general character of the surrounding area. For that matter, it will, if we look at the plans that are submitted, okay, enhance the general area, and that's clearly evident by the number of neighbors who have contacted us, okay, in support for this application. Okay. Number four, it is clearly the least relief that is necessary, because this is not an overly large addition. Okay, they're only putting in there what they need, and for that matter, they reduce the scope and size of it due to the current lumber costs. Okay. And lastly, okay, if we do not grant this relief, okay, they will certainly be more than merely inconvenienced, okay, because they will not be able to build their addition. Okay. Last thing, I see no public purpose for not granting this application. Okay, and I ask the board to support this motion. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Jerzak. I appreciate that. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Go ahead, Mr.
Second,
Rosen.
Mr. Rosen. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jerzak,
Aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye. Good luck.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Charkowik,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Good luck. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have Richard Cranston of 240 Camp Fuller Road in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 24-foot by 24-foot addition to the existing garage, detached garage. The addition will be in line with the current garage and is located 16 feet from the rear property line. The required rear yard setback is 20 feet. Relief of 4 feet is requested. The structure will meet the 20-foot high height requirement. The lot size is 11 acres. Dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance section 401. Schedule of dimensional regulations and 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is Richard R. Jr. and Catherine M. Cranston for premises located at 240 Camp Fuller Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 75-2, Lot 4, and is zoned R80. For this petition, we have the application signed and dated April 14th, 2021. The owner authorization signed and dated April 14th. Site plan page, 1 page, and there are 2 photos. We have the 200-foot radius map and a butters list, the legal notice, proof of certified mailings, and a notarized affidavit of mailing. So who's here tonight for this application? Oh, you're on mute, Mr. Cranston. Oh, almost.
Okay.
Ah, there you go. Now we can hear you, Mr. Cranston.
Okay, good.
So could you please spell your name?
Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, Cranston, C-R-A-N-S-T-O-N.
And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Okay. And you can have anyone else speak on your behalf or with you, or just you?
Just you.
Okay, so go ahead. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Well, I want to expand the existing garage, which is, unlike the notice that was sent out, it's only 24 wide by 20 deep, not 24 deep. And to expand that garage by doubling the size of it, essentially. So increasing the width by 24 feet and keeping the depth the same at 20 feet. It's still looking for a 4-foot variance at this point for that structure.
So the dimension of that, of the 24 versus 20, isn't going to affect your setback at all? That's just depth.
Right, correct.
Okay, and even though you have 11 acres, this is where the garage is, and you're just adding on to the existing?
Correct.
And what's the purpose of you adding on to the garage?
To find another place to put my car.
Because the garage has more than a car in it right now?
Yes. Well, it has, the present garage is full. Let's put it that way. With not only cars, but trash cans, stuff to work on the yard. It's full.
And is this your only means of outdoor storage? Is this garage? Like no other sheds or anything like that?
No, I have a barn. We have a barn on the property, which would, it can hold equipment. I have a tractor, I have a lawnmower, I have, but to, it was once a barn that held cows, and particularly milking cows, dairy cows. So you couldn't, to adapt it to put more cars in was, I already went through that whole thing. It's really problematic at this point. So the adding on to the garage, the existing garage, seemed to be the better fit at this point.
So that's the current use and the current location of where you're storing vehicles, and you want to have additional storage adjacent.
Well, it's closer to the house, and I love older cars, antique cars, and it seemed to me to be the most logical choice to provide more shelter for these older cars. And this, I'm only looking for the space to keep 2. It seemed better and more reasonable to use just an extension on the existing garage.
Well, that makes sense. Do you want to add anything else, or do you want to take some questions, or?
Sure. Yep. I'll take questions.
Board members, any other questions? For Mr. Cranston?
I have one question, Mr. Chairman. Okay, this is Rick Cherzak. Mr. Cranston, what is behind the stone walls? What's back there? Just all open land?
Right now, yes, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, so when
I
it's,
think it's a lot that's probably 80 acres or something, 85 acres, something like that.
okay, but there's no present house back there close to the property line or anything, right?
No, there isn't. No.
It's my only question, Mr. Chairman.
Any other board members, questions for the applicant?
Quick question from Bill Rosen here.
Mr.
Sure.
Rosen? Yes.
From your drawing, it looks like the new garage is going, you said that the new garage is going to be 24 by 20, is that correct?
No. The extension is going to be 24 wide by 20 deep, which is exactly, the depth is the same as the existing garage. So
Okay.
it's not 24 deep, it's 20.
Right. So on the drawing, it says 24 by 24, and you're
Yeah.
saying it's 24 by 20.
Right.
And the distance from the property line is then going to be 16 feet.
The distance to the property line, no, would be the additional 4 feet. Right.
It's currently 16 feet. So You're
Yeah.
requesting an additional.
Setback you're requesting is 4 feet, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 16 feet to the property line. Now, the
Yeah.
barn you were describing, that's closer to
The road.
Campville Road,
Right.
right? And that seems to be a fairly large structure.
It is.
But you said, can it be presently used for any storage or anything like that?
Storage, yes, it is. That's where you keep.
That's what you're using it for. So you're using both the garage and the barn for storage.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
I might add that I started this process by looking at a 24 by 24 double car garage up near the house. And when the contractor said it's gonna be $100,000, I said, no, I don't think so. It's gotta be something better than that. And since I got that quote, I bet it's going up by 20 or 25%. So this option seemed to be the most reasonable and probably the less expensive of building a standalone 24 by 24 garage.
Right. Fair. Okay, board members, any other questions for Mr. Cranston? No? Okay. Mr. Cranston, anything you want to add? If not, I'll ask if there's anyone out there that has any comments or.
No, no, not really.
Jessica, is there anyone out there that wishes to speak on behalf of this application?
No one has raised their hand.
Okay, great. Oh, there's an objection. So any other board members have questions for Mr. Cranston or any discussion of any type? Seems reasonable to me. Doesn't seem to be anyone behind him. Even though it's a big piece of property, it does seem to make sense. So. No, so does someone want to try to make a motion for Mr. Cranston?
I will do it for Mr. Cranston.
Thank you.
Beautiful piece of property out there, Mr. Cranston.
Yes, it
Thank
is.
you.
This is a motion for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance, section 401 and section 907 standards of relief. The documentation and the application have been previously entered in the file by the chairman. The applicant is seeking 4 feet of relief from the rear property line to add a garage adjacent to an existing garage. The back line to the property will not change. It remains at 16 feet from the property line. Therefore, the variance of 4 feet is necessary. The applicant has testified that the least expensive and most appropriate structure for him to add a garage would be to add on to what's existing. Although there is an existing barn in the front of the property, it is fully utilized for storage, and the applicant has testified that it would be not easily converted for storage of vehicles. The applicant has indicated he's a fan of older cars, and he wishes to store them undercover, and therefore needs the additional space at the rear of the house. There is no objection. No one else spoke either in favor or against this particular application. Therefore, the board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. This is a 11-acre lot, plenty of open space. And once again, the applicant wishes to utilize at least one structural wall of the existing garage, thereby most likely saving some serious money in this situation where we have high lumber and construction costs. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from the desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain. It's his home, he intends to stay there, intends to store his vehicles in the garage, and have a convenient place for additional storage for his property. Board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. Again, it's 11-acre lot. Testimony is that there's an 80-acre lot to the rear, and from personal observance, it's a wide open area that no one will even know there's an existing garage back there or an addition to that particular garage. This is the least relief necessary, once again, because of financial reasons that the applicant has testified to. He can't really economically add a garage in any other location except which is existing. The hardship, if we don't grant it, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, because once again, he wants to retain the variance of 4 feet from the back lot and utilize the existing structure for part of the new structure. There are no conditions on this application, and with that, I would move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Is there someone who'll make a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jurzak. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Charkowik?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck, Mr. Crescent.
Well, thank you very much. I respect the work that you do for our community, and it's been a learning experience for me.
Well, hopefully it wasn't too hard. So
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Next we have David Mercier, a revocable trust, indentured of trust, 32 Horizon Lane, Glastonbury, Connecticut, 06033, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to demolish the existing dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling. The new dwelling will be located 26 feet from the east side of the property line. The required yard setback is 36 feet. A relief of 10 feet is requested. The lot size is 0.84 acres. The dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance section 207, which is non-conforming lots of record, building setback requirements, and section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is David P. Mercier, revocable indentured of trust for premises located at 98 Maple Drive, South Kingstown, assessors map 90-1, lot 10, and is zoned R80. And For this application, we have a narrative signed and dated April 16th, 2021. Owner authorization signed and notarized April 21st, April 2021. Development plan progress print prepared by Atlas Surveying LLC, 1 page, dated February 2021 with revisions March 2021 and April 2021. Construction plans A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, prepared and stamped by Laura D. Krikorian, architect, dated March 18th, 2021. Stamped by Ernest D. George Jr., the engineer. A 200-foot radius map and a butters list, the legal notice, proof of certified mailing, the notarized affidavit of mailing. And then there's 2 correspondences, the attorney, John Kenyon, dated May 7th, 2021, and Ronald Poppy, 71 Maple Drive, received May 10th, 2021. And Mr. Kenyon, you are here again, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, once again, John Kenyon, attorney for the applicant, David Mercier. The applicant owns property located at 98 Maple Drive. It's 36,264 square feet in size, and it's in an R80 zoning district. There's an existing 22-foot by 28-foot, 2-bedroom, single-family residence, which is serviced by town water and an existing septic system. The applicant's proposing to demolish the existing house, construct a new 3-bedroom home. They'll be replacing the existing septic system with the new Advantex denitrification OWTS, which will be located along the western left side yard line to keep it as far from the pond as possible. In discussions with CRMC, they had requested that the applicant move the location of the house back from the pond so that it's outside the 100-foot CRMC perimeter, which the applicant has done. This location also moves the house out of the flood zone line that runs through the existing house. CRMC noted that moving the house out of the 100-foot setback would likely require zoning relief. The proposed house will meet the front, rear, and right side yard setbacks, but does require a variance of 10 feet, as 26 feet is proposed and 36 feet is required. As you can see, from the site plan and house plans, the applicant's proposing a narrow house in order to reduce the amount of the relief that is necessary. The applicant is here tonight along with Ken Cole, who prepared the site plan, and Laura Krikorian, who's the architect. If I could have Ken sworn in again, please.
Gone. Mr. Cole, could you please state your name and spell it again for the record?
Sure. It's Ken Cole, Kencole.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So go ahead, Mr. Kenyon.
So, Mr. Cole, can you just briefly, once again, explain where you work and what your duties are there?
Sure. Project manager for Atlas Land Surveying from Warwick, Rhode Island. And responsibilities are on a daily basis, it could change, but land surveying, drafting, septic design, soil evaluations, pretty much anything in the survey world regarding small residential lot development and permitting with the state and town level.
And are you familiar with the applicant's property located at 98 Maple Drive?
Yes, we were hired in September of last year to start the process.
And are you familiar with the site plan that was submitted with the application?
I sure am. I created it.
And is the property in the R80 zoning district?
Yes, it is.
And is the lot 36,264 square feet in size?
Yes,
And is it the lot adjacent to Green Hill Pond?
it is.
And is there an existing single-family house on the property?
There presently is an existing, yes, residential 2-bedroom house.
And is that serviced by town water?
You broke up there, John. What was that?
Is the existing house serviced by town water?
It is.
And is there also an existing septic system on the house?
Yeah, there's an existing permitted DEM septic system on the property.
And where is that located?
It is to the existing cottage that is there. It is located to the east side of the existing cottage and will probably end up smack dab in the middle of the proposed building.
And is the applicant proposing to demolish the existing house and construct a new one?
Yes, they are.
And will the new house meet the flood zone requirements?
It will.
And will the applicant be replacing the existing septic system with the new OWTS located on the west side of the property?
Yes, and we've designed that and had it approved by the DEM a few months ago. And we're providing, once again, we're providing nitrate technology with a flow diffuser leach field.
And how was the location of the OWTS decided?
So from experience doing this for a long time, the DEM and the CRMC wants to see maximum separation from the coast, and we have provided that. We could not move it any closer to the property that's abutting us to the east. So we have maximized our separation to the coast, which is what the state agencies are looking for.
And when you were locating the OWTS, did you take into account the large elm tree referenced in the letter from Mr. Poppy?
Yes, we did. And the elm tree is represented on our plan, and we purposely moved our septic components to meet the DEM setbacks of 10 feet. So our leach field and distribution box, which are the closest components to that elm tree, are 10 feet away, which is the minimum requirement by the Rhode Island DEM.
And has the owner had discussions with CRMC regarding the construction of the house?
Yeah, well, we've had discussions with the CRMC in that the coastal feature edge, which was delineated by me, we wanted, because we knew this project was going to take some time, we submitted a wetland edge verification to them early on in this process because we knew that a year might pass or more and those flags would disappear. So we had some initial discussions. They didn't really know the magnitude of our project, but they offered us some helpful insight, you know, anticipating that something of this magnitude was coming down the road to them.
And what was their recommendation?
The recommendation was that they really wanted us to meet the 75-foot, actually, I'm sorry, the 100-foot CRMC perimeter. So Laura and I made our best effort, as well as Mr. Mercier, of trying to keep all that stuff as far away from the coast as we could and satisfy CRMC's future comments that we're going to get.
And has the applicant cited the house in order to comply with their request?
Yes, I feel he has.
And does that require a side yard variance of 10 feet?
Yeah, so that's the lesser of two evils. CRMC really wants us to show that we put forth our best effort. If that means approaching the town that the project's being done in and asking for dimensional variance, they want to see that we've exhausted all resources to maximize our distance to the coast.
And is there anywhere else on the lot this house could be sited and meet CRMC's requirements and not require the side yard relief?
No, the placement of the house is as far away from the coastal feature as we can get on this property. There's no other spots where we could make things greater than where we've got it placed.
And in your opinion, has the house been located in the area which will have the least impact on the pond?
Absolutely. It's the furthest distance from the pond.
Thank you. I have no further questions if the board has any.
Mr. Chairman, I have one, Rick Cherzak. Okay.
Sir, Mr. Chairman.
How far, again, John, one of my questions I always ask, how far to the house to the east will this addition, does this be located? You have an existing house to the east on the next door lot. How far will the new house be from that house?
Yeah, if you give me 1 minute, I'll give you a distance. At its closest point, it looks like it's about 60 feet away.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other board members' questions for Mr. Cole?
Yeah, I want a clarification from Mr.
Mr.
Cole.
Rosen? Yes, sir.
How far is the house going to be from the pond?
We have on the plan, we have the 100-foot CRMC perimeter designated, and it looks like our closest corner of the house or deck is probably at about 105. So we're meeting the CRMC requirement, but I would say, looking at, if I pull a distance off my plan to the coastal feature edge that I delineated, I'm saying it's about 105 feet at its closest point.
Okay,
It varies. Obviously, the pond edge is weaving back and forth, but 105 is as close as it gets.
as I remember, there's a 150-foot requirement in South Kingstown. Is that correct or incorrect?
I believe that's to the septic system, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Yep.
Okay, so where is how far is the septic system going to be?
The septic system to the coast, and I believe it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the leach field to the coast, not the tank or the plumbing. But the distance from the proposed leach field to the closest coastal feature is, looks like it's about 165.
Okay, so it's outside of our, okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could respond, when you're replacing an existing septic system, I don't believe the section 504.1 requirements are required in that case. We meet it in this case, but I don't believe, I believe you can replace an existing system and be within 150 feet.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon.
And is this, the structure's 2 stories now as compared to was it 2 before as well?
I believe it was 1 before, but I was gonna, and my next witness is gonna be Laura Krikorian, so maybe.
Great.
she can-
Okay, I can hold off. Yep. Any other board members, any other questions for Mr. Cole?
Yes. Tom Daniels, I have a couple of
Yes,
questions.
sir,
Mr.
Mr.
Cole.
Daniels.
In looking at the site plan, I see, looks like 4, 5, maybe 6 roof drains, but I don't see where they terminate. Can you talk to me about that?
Sure. The roof drains are all terminating in the proposed driveway Mr. Mercier has a small driveway. What we're going to do is that all the terminus of all the plumbing coming from the roof line is going to be CRMC and the DEM allow us to use pervious driveway as stormwater final destination. So the plumbing from all the roof drains is going to the driveway, and that's going to act as the stormwater management.
So what's the makeup of the driveway? Gravel or?
Let me just check my detail. It's a usually we put in a 3/4 to 1.5 to 2 inch crushed stone, similar to what we would use for a leach field. So over native existing soils. I did a two soil evaluations on the site, and the soils were pretty decent gravelly material before we hit the water table at around 8 feet.
So your opinion, there should be no standing water from the roof drains in the event of a heavy storm?
I would be shocked. The
Okay.
soils are very well drained in that part of Green Hill.
Okay.
Any other board members' questions for Mr. Cole? Thank you, Mr. Cole.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kenyon?
Sure, if I could have Laura sworn in, please.
Yes. Ms. Krikorian, could you please spell your name?
My name is Laura Krikorian, LAURA KREKORIAN.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Go ahead, Mr. Kenyon.
And Laura, where are you employed?
I am self-employed with my architectural design firm located at 40 Main Street in Wakefield.
And are you a licensed architect in Rhode Island?
I am, yes.
And how long have you been a licensed architect?
27 years.
And have you testified before zoning boards previously as an expert in architecture?
Yes, I have.
And have you testified in front of this board previously?
Yes, I believe I have.
And are you familiar with the applicant's property located at 98 Maple Drive?
Yes,
Did you prepare the house plans that were submitted with the application?
yes, I did.
And is the applicant proposing to demolish the existing house and construct a new one that'll be more conforming to the setback construct a new house?
They are proposing to demolish the existing house and construct a new house, yes.
And will the new house meet the flood zone requirements?
Yes, it will meet the flood zone requirements.
And how will it meet those requirements?
We have shifted the house further away from the coastal feature, so it's only in an A zone flood zone. There will be no basement in the house. The crawl space under the house will be equipped with flood vents that are sized to accommodate the enclosed area under the house. And all of the living space and utilities will be raised above the flood zone elevation. The base flood here is elevation 12 with a requirement to be at elevation 13 above mean sea level. We will have all of our utilities and living space above elevation 14.
And I believe the chairman had asked previously about the existing house, whether it was a one-story house. Is that true?
It is a one-story cottage, yes.
And can you just briefly go over the design of the new house and along with the floor plans?
Sure, yep. The proposed house is a two-story kind of Cape style structure. The first floor is approximately 1,200 square feet of living space. The main body of the house is about 23 feet deep. It's 54 feet long, so it's a sort of longish linear house in order to keep all of the components as narrow as possible to keep them further away from the coastal feature. There is a small porch that faces the street that will bring you in through a hallway to an open dining living area with an opening also to a living room. On that first floor, there's also a master suite with bedroom, bathroom, and closet area. There is a utility room on that first floor to serve the house. And they will have access from that first floor to a porch and deck that faces the pond, as well as a deck towards the rear for grilling. And also that deck will accommodate an outdoor shower and some of the utilities up on that level to keep them out of the flood zone. They do have condenser units tucked around the end of the house and a generator on that deck around the end of the house. The second floor is around 900 square feet. There are 2 bedrooms upstairs and a full bath and a small sitting area. And I
Thank
think
you.
that's about it.
In your opinion, will the design of the house fit in with the other houses in that area?
Yes, I believe it will.
And when you were designing the house, did you attempt to keep it as narrow as possible in order to reduce the amount of setback relief required?
Yes, we worked really hard on managing the size of the house and the scale of the house as well. I have probably 5 to 6 different scenarios of the house where each iteration was reduced in scope and size. Some of the first scenarios were 24 to 2,600 square feet just in the footprint. This footprint is only 1,500 square feet of roofed area, so I feel like we really worked hard to reduce the size of the house. I also want to say that I believe it's the northeast corner, if I have my north arrow correct on my drawings. I did step that corner of the house in both directions to sort of mimic the property line that cuts out on that side of the house so that we could try to reduce the setback request in that corner.
Right, you're referring to the side of the side yard line that kind of jogs.
Yes, it kind of cuts in, exactly. Yep, we mimicked the house profile with that same cut in so that we would reduce the request in that corner.
Right, so that you were able to maintain the 26 feet from the side yard line in all areas, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Hey, board members, any questions for Ms. Krikorian? I just want to make note that yes, while it seemingly, or not seemingly, the house did get considerably larger. I mean, on the land survey plan, it does seem pretty close to the easterly neighbor in terms of the footprint. And when I was there, it looked kind of the same too, and in terms of footprint. So it's not as if this is out of the ordinary for the neighborhood, right? What I wanna do.
Oh, are you asking me that? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, is it kind of fit in footprint wise as you're looking at some of the other buildings as you're there?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, I guess you could, if you're looking at that east property line from the property line to our proposed house. I don't know if Ken could measure from the property line to the proposed house adjacent. It seems like it's about a similar dimension.
But meaning like even the footprint of the house is about the same to the east as you're proposed, as you're proposing.
Yes. Yep. Yep. The sizes you're referring to. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the size of the footprint. And then obviously you're moving away from the water feature. And I did notice you did cut out that corner by this very unique cutout in the so nicely done. It was the drawing that I have here is a little too small for me, but I saw it nonetheless. Okay, board members, any other questions?
Mr. Cagnetta.
Yes, Mr.
Just
Joseph.
getting to that size of the house thing, just a question for John Kenyon quick. I know, John, this is a good sized lot, but what's the lot coverage?
Maybe I can have Ken address that. Once again, my computer's acting up, so I can't look at the site plans, but
What is the requirement? 25%?
It's Ken Cole. The requirement is 20%.
Okay.
And the existing lot coverage of the house was 1.7. We're only proposing 4.1, so we're far underneath the lot coverage. 4.1%.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, any other board members, questions? No? Okay, Mr. Kenyon, anyone else that you wish to bring forward?
yes, if I could have David Mercier sworn in, please.
Mr. Mercier, where is he? Is there a whole nother
Dave.
screen?
Got me?
There you are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, got me?
Could you please spell your name?
Yeah, it's David, D-A-V-I-D, Mercier, M-E-R-C-I-E-R.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Kenyon.
And David, are you the trustee of the David P. Revocable Trust?
Yes, I am.
And does the trust own the property located at 98 Maple Drive?
Yes.
And can you explain to the board the existing conditions of the property and the home?
Sure, it's a 75-year-old seasonal cottage, 600 plus or minus square feet, couple small bedrooms. We bought it, I think it's 6 years ago now, and the plan was always to kind of make it make a retirement place there. And it was in a bit of disrepair when we picked it up, made a couple minor modifications to bathroom usable so that we can kind of stay in it during the time it took for us to get everything in order to get where we are now.
And are you proposing to demolish the existing house and construct a new one?
Yes, we are.
And did you recently obtain approval from RIDM to replace the existing septic system with the new Advantex system?
Yes, we did.
And are you limited where you can site the house due to the location of the pond?
Yes, we are.
It does, in fact, on the site plan, does the 100-foot setback, does that take up a majority of the property?
It does. When we had the coastal feature redone, that took additional 25, 30 feet of the yard as well. And then we moved up the 100 feet from there. So it was very surprising how you have, more than 3/4 of the acre and the space that was available to actually try and put a piece of a property.
And did you attempt to limit the size of the house to reduce the zoning relief being requested?
Yeah, I think, you know, where we started in our heads with a, you know, like I think Laura was mentioning, you know, 24, 2,500 square feet, 2,700 square feet, 4-bedroom, you know, thoughts. But as things kept on moving back and pinching us back further away from the pond, that got reduced and it got stretched out.
And when you say stretched out, did you design the house to make it kind of long and narrow in order to meet the coastal setback while maintaining as much of a side yard setback as you could?
Yes, we did. And you know, didn't want to go any further, start get like a little bowling alley. So I think we did what we could. Yeah.
And in designing the house, did you take into account the tree referenced in Mr. Poppy's letter?
We did actually. You know, that was part of our, when speaking with Ken about the placement, you know, the first drawing we had kind of was a little closer to the tree. And I actually specifically asked him to try and move the areas so that we can maintain the tree. At the same time, I've also already, last year, we have every intention of keeping the tree and actually paid to have it treated for Dutch elm disease so that we could preserve the tree.
Thank you. I have no further questions if the board has any.
Nope. Should I read in this letter since we've mentioned it a couple times? It'd probably be prudent, right? This letter is from Mr. Ronald Poppy to Mr. Gorman. This is regarding the repeal hearing. I'm having a tough time reading it. Would you take into consideration of majestic elm tree on lot 10, map 90-1, R80 zone, former property of B.H. Poppy? Elm tree is probably 100 years old. Excavating on property could be detrimental, if not fatal, to the health of the elm tree. Possibly check with Town of South Kingstown tree warden. Have him walk property prior to hearing based variance on health of 100-year-old tree. Thank you, Ronald Poppy. And P.S. This house was built in 1947 by B.H. Poppy, who settled here in 1939 as a family. So there are no graves or anything, right?
You know what? I'm not sure of that.
Well, we won't go there.
No, we got plenty of stone walls.
Oh, good. But this is what the elm tree that everybody is referring to, this
Right.
100-year-old plus tree.
And right, and there will be, you know, I think that there will be work around it, and you know, there will need to be some probably trimming and pruning for some of the large branches that move for the location of the house. But again, every intention is to do everything we can to save the tree.
And understand, from my understanding, and Ms. Goins, you can correct me if I'm wrong, there is no requirement by the owner to save this tree in particular through local ordinance or any other, and nor could this board make any requirements to keep such tree. So all of your efforts are you know, based on your own want to keep the tree. So thank you for doing that. But, so, anything else, Mr. Kenyon, that you wanted to add?
I do not have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Board members, any other questions for any of the folks that have spoken so far? Nope. Okay. Jessica, do we have anyone out there besides the Vadas that wish to, I mean, they're welcome to speak on this, but anyone else out there?
No one has raised their hand.
So unless Mr. Kenyon, you have anything else to add, board members, any discussion or concerns? It seems like that it was an extremely well thought project by all parties involved. So it seems like that this was the best solution relative to all the constraints. So I don't know how everybody else feels about it, or if anyone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. Rick Jurzak. Okay.
Sir, Mr. Jurzak.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the petition of David Mercier, a revocable trust with regard to property located at 98 Maple Drive, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, okay? What the petition is requesting is side yard relief, okay? They're knocking down the present house. They're gonna put up a different house, okay? What they're looking for is the new dwelling will be located 26 feet from the east side property line. The required side yard setback is 36 feet. Therefore, relief of 10 feet is requested, okay? Mr. John Kenyon, okay, represented the applicant today. Mr. Kenyon explained what they're looking to do here. He then called various witnesses, the first being Ken Cole of Atlas Land Surveying, okay? Mr. Cole testified that he designed the new OWTS system, the drainage system. He dealt with CRMC and RIDM, and he explained the requirement or the need for the variance that they are asking for today, okay? He further explained that the house is not an overly large house. It's well within the 20% lot coverage requirement of our zoning ordinance, okay? He further explained that CRMC and RIDM, okay, want the new house to be as far away from Green Hill Pond as possible, and that is the reason they are here before us today, right? All right, Mr. Kenyon then called Laura Krikorian, a noted, a very good architect from our town, okay? And she explained that she was hired to design a new structure, okay, for Mr. Mercier. And she went into great depth explaining exactly what was there now and what they're looking to replace it with and the size, okay? And she told us all about the design, and for that matter, I'm gonna make a part of my my motion, the 8 pages of her design work, okay? Hang on, because I'm losing you guys here. I pushed my mouse here by mistake. There we go. All right, Mr. Kenyon then further called Mr. Mercier, okay, who is the owner of the premises, okay? He again explained to us the whole process that he went through in purchasing the home, okay, in fixing it up a little bit. And he told us about the age of it, okay, told us what they're looking to do here, all right. He also went into great depth on the elm tree situation, and that he was going to do his very best to protect the elm tree if he could, all right. There was no one who called and was against this petition, okay. All right, now what I'm going to do then is under 907A1, I'm just going to go through the requirements to show that Mr. Kenyon has very adequately covered each one. Okay, with regard to the hardship is clearly due to the location of the lot with regard to Green Hill Pond. Okay, it would be very easy for these people to build the house well within the requirements of our own zoning ordinance if it were not for the fact that they have to get it and the OWTS as far away from Green Hill Pond as they can in order to satisfy the CRMC and the RIDM, okay? Number 2, clearly this hardship is not the result of any action of the applicant whatsoever, because clearly what he's doing here is making sure that this is an environmentally feasible development project, okay, in conformity with the state of Rhode Island laws and rules, okay? Number 3, okay, clearly by the looks of the design that Ms. Krikorian has created, this will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. I visited the site and it's a nice area, but this house will fit in very nicely. It will not be overly large and it will fit into the neighborhood, okay? It is least relief necessary because it is not an overly large house, okay? As was stated by Mr. Cole, okay, it is well within the 20% lot coverage requirement of our zoning ordinance, all right? And lastly, okay, if we do not grant this petition, this will result in more than a mere inconvenience to Mr. Mercier and the trust, okay? due to the fact that he will not literally be able to build a house, a reasonable house there, due to the location of the property on Green Hill Pond. Okay. Again, I see no reason, no public purpose to not grant this application. Okay. Just very quickly, I want to make part of the application the site plan, dimensional variance site development plan by Atlas Land Surveyors LLC, dated February 2021. And having all that being said, I ask that the board grants the petition.
Thank you, Mr. Jurasak. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosen. Is there any discussion? No. Mr. Jurasak,
Aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Charkowik,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a good
very much.
evening.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing it.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Last but certainly not least is Marshall Vada of 77 Kimberly Drive of South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879. For a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct an addition to the attached north side deck. The deck will be located 10.4 feet from the side property line. Required yard setback is 15 feet. The relief of 4 foot 8 inches is requested. Lot size is 0.62 acres. Dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance section 207, non-conforming lots of record, building setback requirements, section 907, standards of relief. Owner of the property is Marshall S. and Jamie H. Vada for premises located at 77 Kimberly Drive, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 58-1, Lot 18, and is zoned R80. And for this application, they have their application signed and dated April 15th, 2021. The owner authorization signed and notarized April 16th. Site plan 1 page prepared by Principe Company, Inc. Engineering Division, Thomas J. Principe III, PE, dated December 23rd, 2020. Floor plans and aerials, A1.2, A0.2, prepared by Newport Renewables, dated April 12th, 2021. And then a 200 radius map and a butters list, legal notice, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. And Mr. Vada.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. How are you today?
Oh, well, I did make the mistake of taking the call from the property where I neglected to remember there is no electricity. So if I'm, it looks like I'm appearing to you out of a Star Wars presentation. That is the story. I'm joined by Ryan Cahill of Newport Renewables as well, who probably is in a place with.
You could just put a flashlight right under your chin.
Yeah, exactly right.
So is it just yourself, or are you going to have someone else speaking?
I'm joined by Ryan Cahill from Newport Renewables as well.
Okay, so why don't you state your name and spell it, please?
Sure. Marshall Vada, Marshall, V like Victory, OTTA.
And do you want to swear in your compatriot there? I mean, do you want to have him introduce himself there? Is he on his own call or is he with you?
He is on the Zoom here, I think. There he is.
Okay. Ryan, could you please state your name as well? Spell
Sure, my name is Ryan Cahill, RyanCahill.
And do you both just swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Okay. Mr. Vada, go ahead, please.
With regard to the property, we purchased it in fall of 2019. The application today is to expand the deck by a few feet. I think Ryan can give you the exact calculation, but I believe it's 4.5 feet in the direction that relates to the setback. Request for relief relates to an expansion of the use of the deck. The prior deck on the existing home was pretty narrow on that side of the property. We realized by eliminating the staircase and widening it, it would provide a lot more access and ease of use. At the furthest, I think the north, east corner of the deck, that creates an entry into the setback space of a few feet, which is the reason for the request today. There's a much longer story about the property, but not for the purpose of the variance today.
So, and you guys were undergoing a redo of it and recognized that there was some damage.
Yeah, so the original story of the property is we purchased it, made some pretty substantial renovations, deck, roof, etc. Began interior renovations, discovered substantial previously undisclosed and unknown water damage, rot, mold, etc., which ultimately led to basically the need to total the house, which we are continuing the process of doing. On the process of doing that, we were looking at the deck and landscape and all types of other elements and realized we could make some improvements to the deck, which brought us here.
Okay. And this, the deck, does it have any relationship to, it has no relationship to the solar project or anything like that per se, right?
It does not.
All right. Board members, any questions so far for Mr. Vada? Okay. So what else?
I hope it's a straightforward request. Certainly glad to answer any questions about it or for more context about the property. We're certainly excited to move forward with next steps. There are a series of next steps related to the overall construction of the property, which are gated behind us figuring out this deck layout. So certainly eager to have this step behind us to proceed with the other construction details.
So Mr. Cahill, did you develop these plans, the site plan?
I did not. That was Principe, but I've worked hand in hand with Marshall in deciding what's the most desirable layout, and I prepared the application.
So it couldn't, you just didn't want to stay inside of its current configuration. You wanted to expand out a little bit in order to have a better use of it, of the deck itself, as Mr.
Yeah, the
Vada
deck
said,
is
but-
originally constructed on that side is really too narrow. There's kind of a narrow walkway on that side of the house. So we're basically just widening it. If you look on the plans, you'll see there's an existing staircase and then there's a little pink rectangle above that staircase. The existing staircase is just going to simply be made into a deck. And it's really not a natural corner. There's really no way to terminate or edge that, certainly aesthetically or functionally, that makes sense. So we're just basically, the pink rectangle represents just kind of squaring off that corner. And that's where the relief is requested.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Board members, any questions? All right. And Jessica, is there anyone out there at this point that is speaking?
There's one person out there, but they have not raised their hand.
You guys want to add anything else to it? It seems pretty straightforward. They're just sort of squaring off one corner that is, and who knows, maybe they didn't square off that corner just for, they didn't want to ask for relief. But here they are. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a question of general interest. Some government property to the north and slightly to the east, is that a restricted property or what's it all about?
A neighboring property is owned by the US. That's the border of the wildlife area there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's entirely wooded. There are no houses in that direction. Basically everything east of us is wooded or wetland or otherwise. We're the last house on that side.
Is that fenced back there at all?
There's no fencing. Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? Okay. If you guys don't have anything else to add, perhaps someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. This is a motion to approve the petition of Marshall Vada of 77 Kimberly Drive, South Kingstown, for a dimensional variance under a zoning ordinance section 207 and the section 907, which is the standards of relief. What they're asking for is to set back the northeast corner, I believe, and square it off so that it comes to 4 feet 8 inches within the setback. Seems to be a minor correction of rebuilding the entire structure of the house, essentially, and thus it doesn't seem to be anything of a serious nature. So let me proceed. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land and structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. And that's mainly because they've done all their due diligence previous to this, and the house seems to be under construction finally, and they want to have a deck that makes some sense. And that deck is, if they want to make it aesthetically pleasing, it seems to go into the setback, and that's what they're trying to correct here. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. And as a matter of fact, it's they bought the house recently in 2019, and as they got into trying to fix the house up a little bit, they found out that there was considerable damage done to the house by rot and mold, etc. And so they've almost had to reconstruct the entire structure itself. And the board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. As a matter of fact, it seems to fit in nicely with the area. I visited the area, and it looks like it's going to be a rather nice structure as such. And what's behind them really is a wildlife area owned by as stated by Mr. Vada, owned by the US government. And they're not going to be having to deal with any new housing or anything coming into that area. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the least relief necessary. It seems to be they've done their due diligence with respect to the house itself, and it's really only this tiny little piece of the deck that they want to put in there, or expand actually, that is the problem and the reason that they're before this board. And the board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience. They've done a lot of work on that house. It's obvious from just looking at the house itself where they are right now, and this is really a minor thing that has to be taken care of so that they can more or less finish the process. I might mention that Marshall Vada and Ryan Cahill spoke on behalf of the petitioner, Marshall Vada, which I neglected to do at the beginning of this process, and that the petition itself was read into the record by the chairman. And as a result, I move that this petition be approved by the board.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Jurzak. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Jurzak?
Aye.
Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
And Mr. Charkowik?
Aye.
And Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck, Mr. Vada.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Okay.
Thank you.
The only thing we have left is the minutes from April 21st, 2021. If someone would like to make a motion to approve such.
To approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Do we need to take a roll call? I know, Jessica, you mentioned that Mr. Jurzak was not going to be here for the next meeting.
Correct.
Correct. So
When is the
Ms.
next meeting?
June 16th.
June 16th?
June 16th, which means Ms. Walsh, you're going to have your debut. Just feel free to do as little or as much as you like.
No,
Um,
thank you for giving me a couple of sessions. And I'm out here in Honolulu, so I'm a little spacey today, but I enjoyed listening to you all.
Well, enjoy Honolulu. Hopefully it's beautiful out there.
I'm working.
Oh,
I'm clearing
okay.
out a storage area. Does anybody want some artwork? I'm serious. I'll bring it back.
I don't need any more tchotchkes.
Depends on who the artist
Oh,
is.
no, yeah, I was gonna say, these are pretty good things. I just
yeah?
can't get rid, you know how, anyways, I'm not gonna take your time. It's late back there, but yeah, a lot of stuff from around the world.
Wow. Well, that's exciting. Well, good luck. Hopefully it goes well for you.
Oh my gosh. This is
Yeah,
a nice,
well.
this is a nice break.
All right. Well,
Uh-oh.
thank you.
That's a bad sign.
Well, thank you all. We get next week off. We made it all the way through. So it's
Also,
9.
It
Yes.
we just should know, next month is the election of officers too, so it's June, so it's time to elect officers. So
Nice.
At the end of next month's meeting.
And that's when we have the we test each other's strength and so forth to see who
Exactly.
comes out on top. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Adjourn.
How to get off?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was that
Yeah.
motion to adjourn. Yeah. Whoops. Take care.
Aye.
Aye.